like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. Oh, I like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I like to see the world for once, all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. Everybody, I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. Perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company.
Hey everybody, Joe Lewis here from Battle Rankings Live. Boy, we're going to have a good show for you. We're going to be doing the missions, get back to our missions. We're going to be covering Encirclement, which some people love, some people hate, but we'll go through that. We got an SME for that. Hey, I'm joined by my lovely and talented producer, Ann. Say hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
How's it going?
It's going fine.
I'll say, what song do we come into?
We came into it, Love to Teach the World to Sing, written by Gordon Webster. It was performed by the Northwest Swing Dance Company.
Swing dance, baby, swing. I love that beat. It was a great beat. We're bopping our heads over here and everything.
Sing along, trying
Yeah.
to harmonize.
Yeah. So we got a lot to cover, and we're going to go through it. And so let's kind of just start with what we got going on. I am joined. I'm going to bring in our SME because I want to have him help me with the upcoming tournaments and everything like that.
Oh, he's going to help you.
He's going to help me. Well, it's because he sent me a lot of things. So let's bring him on in.
Brian.
Brian Coaches, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
When you started, it's been a while since I've been on. We started Lovely and Talented. I was like, "Oh, Joe, thank you."
Yeah. Was I giving you the vapors?
Yeah.
So, Brian was down in Texas. There seems to be I don't know what I would call it, a resurgence of something of tournaments and stuff. And Brian was nice to collect that. And I was getting a bunch of stuff on the East Coast and Ohio. So, hey, let's just kind of go over, and you can, on the Texas ones, make some comments about some of these places I don't know yet, but let's just pull it on up. So we got, so this weekend, Ohio's doing it in Newark, Ohio, Game Teamless Adventures. They're doing a Team Yankee 110. And I finally got around to fixing it. And boy, I had it wrong for a long time. The Dreamers Vault Games in Minnesota, Minneapolis, is doing a Mid-War 105, which sounds like they're getting ready for Adepticon of 3 rounds. Then next weekend, LVO, Las Vegas Open. So they're doing a Team Yankee 70 and a Late War 110. If you want to go, I know the tickets are sold out, but there are people that stuff has come up that I know. Send me you send me your contact information, and I can hook you up with someone who's not going, and you can get their ticket. And we'll cover that. So yeah, let me know. And unfortunately, I'm going to be one of them. I got something coming up at work, and they asked me not to go because what we got going on at work, and I said okay, fine. And so they're going to be covering any expenses. So I can't complain.
And we do have one person in our group here in Texas is not able to go, so I'll send you their contact information, Joe.
Okay.
Somebody, I think, do believe he's signed up for both tournaments. So,
yeah, so that makes 4. That makes 4 tickets that are available. So if you want to go, let us know, and I'll hook you up with them. So I had people contact me. I just don't want to give their contact information over the YouTubes. And then on the 19th, wow, the 19th is going to be busy. May at Shiloh, which is, hello. So, hey, I gotta see the button. Look, kitty cam. Okay. Of course, kitty rear end cam. All right. So we're looking at February 19th. A lot going on. Melee at Shiloh. That's in Arkansas. They, I think that's a con. They're doing the Team Yankee, 74 points. The Vault Gaming Lounge in Delaware is doing 100-point 3 rounds, and that one's interesting. That from what little I've read, I'll go check out their details. From what little I read, they're doing an army box. So whatever comes in an army box, that's the only thing you can make your army in. So if you wanted the box with the gazillion million T-34s, you would have 100 points worth of T-34s if you're so inclined. Okay. What else we got going on? I thought that was interesting. The one thing about that is, if you're a game store owner and you want to move product, that's one way to move product. Then Game Table Adventures in Newark, Ohio, again, is doing another Team Yankee, 94 points, also on February 19th. February 26th, you got Forge Hobby and Games. That's in Houston, Texas. Brian, they're doing a Mid-War 105. Have you been to this store?
Yes. Yeah, we have about 6 stores around the Houston area that are have supported the hobby in one way or another. We've had small tournaments here and there at them. This year, I've been working with Paul Bellotti to put together a more rigid tournament schedule for people that want to play. They can kind of see what we're doing for 2022. We've worked around some of the book releases, what's been released to us, and we're working with these game stores and hopefully get a couple of tournaments in there, each one throughout the year. So really excited to give these stores more support and more people coming in. And they, like I said, we've been working with them. They're really excited to have us. This one that is on the 26th of February is coming hopefully after the release of the new North Africa book, which has Mid-War Monsters, and Mid-War Monsters will be allowed in this tournament. So yeah, if you're in the area or going to be in the area or want to drive out, we'd love to have you. These are all great stores. In fact, the Forge is just opened recently. And the owner there is really excited to have us there.
Right. Hey, I'm going to back up. I didn't know Pete was on, and he just, in the spirit of the event. So this is going back to the Delaware event, the Army Box. Peter is running it. The spirit of the event: buy a box and create a list from the content. Good. New players can buy a box set, build, and come to the tournament and have a competitive list. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's some of those boxes are actually pretty good, especially the late war ones. I like the American box because I believe it actually comes with Recon. Vet players are looking to turbocharge the box with command cards and use the sprue variants. Ooh. All lists must include a complete content of the. You must have everything that's in the box. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Are they all the same points?
of the book. Well, no, when the army box is all in one book. Add command cards and additional modules to reach 110. Any vehicles that can be made from a sprue that is legal in the list can be included. Okay, that is interesting. You know what, Pete, you're going to have to let us know how it works out, and then we can use that as a spread the word. If you have positive results, we'll spread the word about that. It's almost like magic, where you buy a box and that you play that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Well, I hope it's a good idea. I hope it works out.
And make sure you get there early so that you get your pick of army box and not just get whatever is left over.
Well, hopefully, you still got to assemble the stuff, so you got to go. So I got a little bit of time. Then March, we're going to go back March 4th and 5th, Newark, Ohio, is the Team Yankee on the 19th is 94, right? It's in Cambridge, Ohio. Oh, okay. Sorry, Carl, I got something mixed up. So that makes sense. Well, Carl, could you tell me where that? Oh, is that I think that's a con. I think I copy and paste somewhere. So the 19th is actually in Cambridge, Ohio. This one, you can see my cursor. We'll get that corrected and go with that and get that corrected. But it is Team Yankee 94. But let's talk about the March 4th, 5th. Game Table Adventures is picking up where CincyCon left off. CincyCon got canceled. And okay, it's going to crawl. Oh, by the way, sorry, guys. It's called Crossroads Con. That's the 19th. But so back to Newark. CincyCon got canceled. So Game Table Adventures picked it up. So they're doing the Team Yankee and the Late War one, at the store. So they picked it up. Going, if you're in the area, please support. March 12th and 13th, Hard Knocks Games, once again doing Wolf Creek, which be, I don't know, 10 years, 11 years. They've been doing it for a while. Yeah, that's in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That is a 5-round Bulge theme, red v blue. So 5 rounds, so 2 days. Then March 25th, Adepticon in Schaumburg, Illinois. Team Yankee and Mid-War 105. By the way, I had to check see if it's 6 rounds or 5 rounds. Now, some of you may be on here wondering what's about Adepticon, because I made some comments about in the last episode. So let me talk about a couple things. I'm not going to rehash the last episode, but I think I made my point on things. But I want to clear up a couple things. First of all, the Battlefront has very little or nothing to do with what I do here. I don't work for them. I don't report to them. I've never received anything for personal gain for Battlefront. It's merely a friendly relationship. And then we do for the Toys for Tots. And then I pass on information for them for Masters. Because Battlefront handles Masters. And so why there's some overlap, we're 2 completely different entities. With that said, which is interesting, is that anyone who was pro my comments sent me information, contacted me, reached out and contacted. Anyone who was con sent information over to Battlefront. and hence why Battlefront contacted me. The thing is, in the future, if anything like this happens again, could you guys reverse that? Send the nice words over to them, and send me the net, your thoughts, so that I can address them. So Battlefront, without because they didn't give me names or anything in details or specific, but they kind of gave me the general gist of what was going on over there. I want to say first thing, Canada. Sorry, Canada. I didn't mean to lump you into all that. You have your own situation. You guys are dealing with it. So, by the way, I don't think I ever mentioned Canada in the thing. So Canada's, don't worry about it. Yeah, sorry.
It's your country.
Yeah, you guys do your Canada, do your Canadian thing, right? We should queue up Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
So, but yeah, Canada's do. So yeah, no problem there. Sorry, Canada. Didn't mean to lump you in there. A couple of you guys got a little weird. Well, not weird, but scared or whatever. I should say questions. You had questions. And by the way,
Canadians are always polite.
Mostly, some of the Canadians I work with, they're not so polite. Pretty straightforward. I'm like, you sure you're not from New York? Anyway, so Battlefront did reach out to me. They did reach out to me and asked me about would I reconsider the thing about the points for Adepticon, and they asked nicely. Okay, and when I say they asked nicely, I mean we had a very pleasant conversation because we're.
It's more like friends talking to each other about it.
Yeah, and Ann was on some of the calls.
You had it on speakerphone.
Yeah, I was on speakerphone.
I couldn't help but listen.
Well, yeah. Well, and you chimed in now and stuff like that. So they understand the way I feel, which is fine. By the way, letting that out was kind of liberating. But yeah, it's like I came out of a closet. Anyway, so we talked about it, and but they're great guys, and so we talked about it. And by the way, they don't know my answer. The answer's be right here, so they're probably going to be watching. Oh, what's he going to do? In the spirit of, because they did reach out, and we had this
as friends,
as friends, and had conversations. About what their perspective on things, my perspective on things. I'm going to say because the relationship, and they asked, we're going to be counting the points for Adepticon. I still don't like the situation. There's a lot of things that bother me about it. And kind of one of the things is, man, you just got back from New York City.
Yes, I did.
I
was there for the BSI thing.
Yeah, for the Baker Street Irregulars.
Yes.
And their annual dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And you were wandering the streets, right?
Yes, I was. New York City.
Yeah. And to attend a restaurant, you needed to do what?
I had to show a vaccine card. So yes, it's surprising. Yes, Anne has been vaccinated.
Well, no one needs to know
no one really needs to know. That's one problem I have with this. I don't think anybody deserves to know what my personal healthcare information is.
Yeah.
No one but my doctor and me. But I sucked it up and I went because it was the first time I'd be going to the Baker Street Regulars dinner as a BSI. So I went. But you had every time you went into any sort of it was in the hotel. They have an open lobby with a bar, and the lobby is literally the bar is part of the lobby. in order to sit down, you had to show your vaccination card there. To go into any restaurant or bar, you had to show your vaccination card. Now, you didn't have to show it to go into places like CVS or a grocery store.
Or when you attended mass.
Or when I went to mass. Yeah, I didn't have to show it to go to church. But it was an interesting environment. It felt weird, and it was weird for a number. It just felt strange. It didn't feel like New York normally is.
Yeah.
To me.
So just for some background information, Ann and I lived in New York City for about 15 years. 15 years.
15 years. We got married there.
Yeah, got married. Yeah, Queen of Martyrs.
Queen of Martyrs Church.
Very, very long
Forest
church.
Queens, yeah.
Forest Hills.
Yeah.
The home of Spider-Man, Peter Parker. So we are familiar with New York and go kind of.
It is like one of the true places on earth that is like the melting pot of the world.
Oh yeah.
So many different kinds of people. You step into a subway car and there's all different sorts of people there. And usually when you go into a restaurant and sit down, it's all sorts of people there. I mean, it's New York. Everybody goes everywhere, right? Well,
actually, I don't. How many times would you actually eat in? Because the kitchens are so small.
Kitchens are so tiny, most people would go out.
You're always going out.
Or you're ordering food in.
Yeah, pizza, Chinese. Yeah, that's Chinese food, pizza. That's normal. Yeah.
So going into what was weird to me is that I felt, and I noticed that whenever I went into a place, a sit-down place, and this includes, we went to a place called Pete's Tavern, which is Gramercy Park area. It's just north of NYU, and it's a busy bar. It's one of the oldest bars in New York. Okay, it's known for Henry wrote his stories sitting at Pete's Tavern.
Oh, really?
So, yes. And it's a really busy bar. So, in fact, we had to crawl through a crowd to get back to our table.
Right. So, you're on top of each other.
We're on top of each other in there. And when I went in, what struck me is this particular place and all the others is that it was all white faces looking at me.
Huh.
And I don't know why that. Well, there are several reasons why they could be, but
it's anecdotal.
It's anecdotal.
You just made an observation.
I just made evident. I know that the only people I saw sitting down to eat in restaurants were white people. You can take that to mean what you want to mean, but that's my observation. It's just anecdotal.
All right. Anyway, so Ann was in New York City, but
it was weird. That was what was weird to me.
So anyway, we'll just move on. And so anyway, anecdotal situation of observation. But yeah, we're gonna kind of move on. But yeah, if you're looking at Newton and you're wondering what the hubbub is, last week's video is up there. You can see it and do everything. But speaking of which, all our videos are up there, and you can go and look at them. And we cover missions, anything Flames of War and Team Yankee. We have up there. We have over 80 episodes. So anything that you're looking for is there. Check them out. They're there to help you out. We have like Brian on today is our SME. I bring on SMEs and we talk about different things that either they did some research on or they that's the Army they play and that kind of stuff. So that is what we got going there. So Brian, I want
Joe.
Let me just finish out. So that's Adepticon. The Cardboard Corner Cafe in Kansas City is doing something on April 9th, which is pretty cool because now that's twice that Kansas City is doing something. And who's running that?
Alex Montiel. I can't say his last name.
Alex. Yeah, this is the second one he's doing. So I'm glad to see Kansas City doing stuff. Hopefully keep it up. If you can, go support Alex and the Cardboard Cafe. And then here's another one, Third Coast Games, which, by the way, has done something before. They're in Texas. They're doing Team Yankee. And then May 28th, Rocky Top Game Con in Knoxville. They are doing a late war 110. Now, this is a con, and they're doing 3 rounds. They're going to try to do red versus blue. I'm not too sure how that's going to go. But I'm going to try to make that one. And then I'm going to cut it off here. I know there's other things I've been getting for later, but let's just go out to June. The Fat Ogre, really? Spring, Texas, late war? Not just to one up everybody. Late. By the way, was that a typo, or are they really 111?
Are they really 111?
Yeah, late war, 111 points.
Oh no, that's legit.
Okay, they just want to up one everyone, huh?
Yep.
Good. Okay. All right. Good for
But
them.
I think there's a book coming out about that time. It's off my notes offhand, but
the new German book is targeted for May.
Yeah. So,
hopefully that'll get out, and so people can make. That's the German Bulge book. Hopefully that'll come out, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, it comes out, and you can do German things. Because actually, what I'm looking forward to is the King Tiger in plastic. That should be a joy to paint. Will it ever see the table? Probably not. But
yeah. I mean, you know my feelings about plastic. I can't seem to keep them together. But
okay. Before we go into the thing, I know we're kind of teasing everything. We're going to be getting a new segment here. So when I see this, I'm calling it Lessons from the Internet. So these are things that trying to clear up things from lessons from the front. There was a question out there. Matter of fact, I was at this tournament, which was there was some D-Day items there. And so their question came up during a tournament, and the Avery, the bombardment. I know that the Avery is ignored for danger close when it fires. What about friendly teams? So, and then the lessons front says you can't fire if there's any friendly teams that are under a template. What about close teams within 4? And kind of connect the dots here. Phil answered back, trying to clear this up. I have the rule right here. How do you say petard? Is that petard?
Yeah.
Sure. Petard rule is quite simple. When firing a bombardment from a petard, Avery teams ignore the danger close rule. That's it. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. They simply ignore the rule. The lessons from the front entry was simple, but because they're ignoring the danger close rule, meant that there's nothing to stop people from bombarding their own troops, something they hadn't considered. Okay, and so basically, if you and so they can bombard their own. They can bombard their own troops if they so choose to.
That fit?
Reminds me of the other song. What was it?
Yeah, and then
get out the way. Get out the way.
Yeah, move it. Yeah, if they're not quick enough. Then the Sherman Crocs. They cannot charge into contact, but there's nothing on the command card that says prohibiting them from holding or capturing objectives like it states on the Churchill Croc card. I guess the word croc and croc is that the case. And then Phil came in here for clarification, which is on the card. Yes. Patrick, Avery's, I guess they have their own on song now. The Sherman Crocodile has been given the flame tank rule instead of the flame trailer rule. So they can take and hold objectives, which is pretty much just like the Soviet stuff, Soviet flame tanks. It isn't anywhere near as tough as the Church Crocodile. It's not a real issue. Okay. I think he's talking about that. So You could have a Sherman Crocodile come in, just toast everybody and take an objective. So that's what they do. Though we talked about they cannot charge into contact, which also means they cannot. We were talking about this earlier before the show. We don't think they can actually defend, and if you attack them, we think they have to break off. Where I believe the Russians actually says on the card that I think they stick around and it can assault. That's what makes those Russian cards. Yeah. I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah, I don't want to begin a thing here. By the way, I did know that I try not to go on the message boards and stuff, but I heard there was a good thread going on the unofficial. Yeah, I just got some feedback from some of you guys. You know what? I can now actually say I got one of the things checked off on my bucket list. I have a death threat. I got a death threat. So, yay.
I mean, it's so silly.
Well,
game?
Well, I think it transcended the game, I guess. Anyway, yeah, and then in truth, in Soviet Russia, flame tank you. Yes, yeah, that's about right. Okay, yeah, let's Brian, let's talk about Encirclement. By the way, 32 minutes with everything else going on. That's pretty good for us. Hold on before we go too far. Why do Flames points stay around the 100th range, and Team Yankee bounces all over the place? Okay, good question.
I can answer for that.
Before we get too far, it was, and they took care of it. And whatever, I'm not worried about it. Some guy from Europe. But back to the seriousness. Why do Flames points stay around 100? I think it has to do with the way the points worked out this year. Historicon the first Historicon was 100, then 110. So they're bouncing around there because that's what the points for nationals were. I don't know why, and we've tried to say this, and Battlefront's tried to say this. Just because Battlefront sets points for their national tournaments, people just tend to stick around there. And so that becomes like people think that's the points for the season. If you want to run a late, by the way, I did do a tournament late war 30 points, 5 rounds real quick. That was fun. Those played real fast, and when things went wrong, they go wrong quick. But those were kind of fun games. So it's all, whatever a TO wants to run. It just, people think that they could throw bigger things in. I think we did a Battle of the Bulge theme, 77 points. And there was a tiger or two, and actually, someone to have a tiger, and and people had enough of their equipment. It plays well. It's all about your group. And I know I've heard people say that, 100, 110, the games don't finish. After a while, after you do play those points and stuff, and you should know your stats pretty much off the top of your head. So, hey, if I cross country, I know it's this, and that way you can play quicker. You'll find that if you and hopefully your opponent do that, you find the games do go quicker and they do finish. And
I'll in Flames of War, I think that is true. And one of the things that I do, or I have been doing lately, because I play a wide range of forces, so I actually go on to the forces page and crop those things out and put them in Word, and I'll print out something like this that has all my stats on it on one sheet, so I'm not thumbing through a bunch of cards trying to find it. I've got it right there that I can look at real quick. and help speed that up. Because you're right, you should, if you play one force repetitively, you should know all the major stuff on it. But because I play everything, like I'm sure a lot of people do, just having those cropped in, you'll still have to have the cards because you still have to have like the keywords like what is smooth ride and stuff like that. So those things are easily memorized. But just having them printed out onto a sheet, that's helped me immensely.
By the way, I saw on the thing, Fred said that Shermans have a counterattack of 6. Sherman Crocs have a counterattack of 6. So I'm going to take a look at that and then come back like next week and see if I have a better answer for you guys. So don't need to leave you guys, we want to make sure we get you the correct information. So, and you have something to come back to. Yeah. Oh, a producer says, sorry about the tangents. My fault. It's okay. It's okay.
I think there's also a larger answer to your question about why do the points fluctuate. There's the local, like this season points, minor fluctuation. And then there's the what have we learned over the past 4 or 5 years points of fluctuation. And I think we, for the most part, found that Flames of War works pretty well in that 100-point range, give or take, 15 points either way. Whereas Team Yankee, people are struggling to find something that people can enjoy at tournaments and complete games. And that's the reason why you see, all the tournaments start out like at 100 points and they go a little bit high. And then people are saying, well, we can't finish the games or on the draw. So those points keep going lower, lower, and lower. And then now I think people have kind of discovered what that kind of magical range on being able to complete games in a 2.5 hour time period with Team Yankee. And that's about 70 to 80, give or take, 5 or 10 points on that. So.
Yeah. Also, I think, another reason is the low points in the Team Yankee stuff are butted up with Flames of War tournaments. So if you're traveling, I mean, you're, because Flame of War, a Team Yankee army could fill a bag real quick.
Yeah.
So that there might be some factor in that. Hey, we're doing 100-point, Flames War. And the day before we're doing, we're going to keep it small so that you can fit in the bag and fit in your bag and travel with it. So there's just some conscious thought in that. Mm-hmm. So if you see only a Team Yankee game, they might be bigger. I think of when it's butted up with another tournament, so that you can play 2. I think the points tend to be smaller so that for people traveling is some of the considerations. So that's especially when LVO and Adepticon, those, I think 170, the other one's 74. So, all right. I think, yeah. I mean, I do too. I have a large battle phone bag, but the thing is that like, well, I'm gonna bring Russians, and all of a sudden you bring all those, boy, that fills up quick.
Yeah,
it's like Cisa DeMille film, Hey, let's get back to the main entertainment. Brian, Encirclement.
Yes, Encirclement. Encirclement is a fascinating mission. It's found in Attack Defend only. And I think I requested this one, like, when you first came out, like, hey, you want to do missions? And I've been going back and forth. What makes this mission so difficult to try to explain and build a strategy around is it probably more so than any other mission is dictated by what the terrain is on the table. It could be a terrain that's beneficial to a defender and they have a good chance to win the game. And it can be, maybe a more barren table and the defender is going to have a harder time to win the game. But It is, again, like I said, located in Attack Defend. It's one of the 2 missions that is in there that isn't deep reserve. So that is actually kind of nice. Fighting Withdrawal is the other one. It has scattered immediate reserves for the Defender, which kind of throws that randomness into the Defender. They are immediate, so that is quite nice. You can start rolling for that. The Defender has ambush and the Defender has minefields. Now, it's not your normal minefield where you have 1 per 25. This actually is a little bit higher. You have 1 per 50. So that is kind of the unique flavor to that, to this particular mission. And one thing you have to keep track of, as everything else, the only one like that, as far as I know, that is 1 per 50 points. And then kind of the other unique thing that I have here is that the attacker can win immediately. They can go up, assault, hold that objective, and then start as long as you're not pissed off, then they can win it at any point, thereafter. So has a lot of uniqueness to it, and is a lot of different options available, as we'll see as we go on through the slides here.
All right. Well, there you
go. The Defender, we'll go over their deployment first. A Defender with recon, because recon wins games. This is what their deployment is going to look like. So they have an 8-inch slot down the middle. It's preferable to take that so that the attacker can't cut across the back end of the table. You have to be, if you're thinking like, well, should I put my recon in reserve or something else? You want to make sure that they're on the board for this. It'll make your life a little bit easier. Even pushing forward just a little bit, say I think it's like 4 or 8 inches from your deployment is enough to keep the attacker off that back edge, or the complete back edge. If you don't have recon, then you lose kind of the 8-inch slot down the center, and you're really going to have, because you have less minefields to be able to section off portions of the table, you're going to have a little bit harder time to protect that front line. Again, this particular mission, more so than any other that I've studied, terrain is really going to be a big factor here. If you have something right there in the middle, say a village, or especially something like if somebody puts an impassable piece of terrain there, or a rocky hill, or something that is difficult to get across, then that is really going to help the defender defend that middle portion of the field. And that's what, when you go to pick a side, when the defender picks a side, you really want to concentrate. What additional 4 inches is going to give me a better a spot to defend in, because that objective is really close to the initial deployment area. And you can't necessarily rely on your reserves to come in to save you, because they are going to be quite a bit further away. Even if they're coming from the side, it's going to take them a couple turns to be able to get to where they need to be able to really help defend that front objective.
Yeah. So just kind of repeat. So yeah, if you have recon as the defender, sending it out pretty much cuts off. Or you slow down, or
and you don't have to go out far. You can, like I said, I think it's only like 8 inches you have to go out to be able to kind of deny the attacker that back portion of the board.
Yeah. Also, and then once again, the terrain is the key. And since you're the defender, you can try to optimize your terrain and minimize theirs on for the trajectory of the movement, their movement. You want me to go to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. Then the attacker deployment. Again, if the defender doesn't have the recon, then the attacker gets that 4-inch bar across the back between the two zones. And if you're going to get into the nuances like this on, okay, which side has a 60, which side has a 40, which side does a recon come from to be able to add, then that you'll have to decide that as the attacker. I would have a list out, like if we have this mission, then I'm going to recon. If defender is recon, then I'm going to recon. My 60% is over here because you don't want to slow the game down trying to figure out what is coming from where. But when you take a look at your angles of attack, there's kind of 3 main attacks here. You can go for objective placement. You have the middle there. You have that 8-inch section that you can put your objective. And then you have the wing on the near side and the wing on the far side. And what I mean by that is you kind of want to determine which of these sides you want to attack from. So you're either going to attack from your 60 or you're going to load up over there with maybe some support or whatnot, and then put your 40% main force on the other side. And the side you want to attack from, that would be the wing near side. So wing near side objective, and then you have the wing far side. And in my opinion, if you want to get the best bang out of your buck on this, then you would say, okay, if I'm looking at this deployment zone, and you see where my arrow, the 18-inch arrow, I would put an objective there. Yep. Right there, and then I would do objective on the far side, because you want them to, you don't want to have the defender have easy access to be able to basically shoot your stuff in the side, or have to be able to come up infantry and assault you or whatnot. So you want to push their defenses out as far as you can. So you generally would have, or what I would do is have an objective wing far side and then counter push on the other side as the attacker. You're also gunning as the attacker to win this as quickly as possible. Because of the scattered nature of the reserves, even immediate, I'd say you're looking to win before turn 4, or on or before turn 4. Because once they start getting reserves in regularly, then they're going to be able to put up much more of a defense. So you really want to be aggressive in what you want to do. And as we have here, there's from the corner there to the objectives, 18 inches. From the middle down is 20 inches. And then if you want to do from one of the squares down to a far objective, that's a 24-inch range that you have to go. And if you're looking at that as far as movements, that is going to be so at least 2 turns of movement unimpeded, where you go 10 inches with, let's say, tanks, another 10 inches with tanks, and then you're now in assault range. That's unimpeded. Now we start looking at impedance, and you're looking at 3 or 4 turns to be able to push to the far one of the wings that's there. So it's not really unless they are really light on their defenses, then I probably would not push the wings. I'd just focus on that center area and being extremely aggressive to take that objective as quickly as possible before mass amount of reserves start coming on the table.
All right, so that was kind of a what you got going on here.
Yeah. So, the defender deployment. If you're, and this is where the recon can come to be important. As you see, as the attacker, I put an objective down up in the corner, and then I put an objective on the far side. Having this a little bit of additional deployment is going to help protect that corner. So I would, again, because this is so terrain dependent, it's hard to say this is what you should do. But this is where I would place my minefields. And I would protect that corner, and I would make the attacker go around, even if it's just a little bit further. That gives you one extra turn to be able to defend that objective. That gives you one extra turn to get reserves in to be able to do something. It just slows it down ever so slightly, and that's what you need. The name of this mission is delaying action and making sure that that you have enough time to get your whatever you have on reserves onto the table. And in this particular case, you see I have the green. That's going to be my recon. It's recon forward. And then you can, I have an arrow pointing into to the attacker zone. And what I mean by that is, at the top, the green cloud. Yeah. What I mean by that is, so there are, I hate to say mind tricks that you can play with your opponent. But there's kind of, it's like Sugar Ray Leonard or Muhammad Ali, where they wave their hand to distract and then come in with an opposite hand for a punch. That recon is just kind of like your hand waving. It's like, okay, this thing is here to threaten your whatever you have, whatever support you have in the back, artillery, whatever. You're going to have to deal with this. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting free hits and free kills on whatever you have in the back. In the back of your mind, you're like, okay, well, the recon's dead. The unit's gone. I'm willing to sacrifice that unit to be able to distract the opponent enough to slow them down. Again, name of the game is, as for the defender, is slow your opponent down, as far as slow their movement and how far they're willing to go. Have doubt. Start seeking a little bit. It's like, okay, well, I got to deal with this recon unit, otherwise I'm going to lose my artillery, and that buys you a little bit more time. That infantry, again, on that corner in the front, that middle, as it's going to be, there's not going to be any place you can go really that isn't going to be assaulted on the first turn, because you want to deploy on the front side of the objective. And what I mean by that is, if you look off to the right where I have this cloud, you see where I have the objective, and the cloud is that infantry platoon or whatever platoon, and I have that pushed as far forward as I can. You still want to be 2 inches back because you don't want to be assaulted on the first turn. But you want to give yourself an opportunity to accept a assault, and then just fall back, dig back in, make them go through the whole process again. Again, it's you don't necessarily have to come back in for a counterattack. That's in most cases is not the best thing to do. The best thing is to try to get your reserves on, because that's your 3 Panzer 470s or your 4 Panzer 470s or your 2 or 3 Tigers or whatever, and that locks down an objective. So you just want to give yourself time to be able to get those big reserves coming onto the board. So you want to forward deploy, deploy in front of the objective. You want to have people, when they come in and assault into you, just fall back, dip back in, go on the ground. Okay, rinse and repeat. So chances are they're not going to wipe out a full platoon on one assault anyway. But you do want to be mindful. Give yourself that little bit of gap so you can't be assaulted on the first turn. So 2 inches back will achieve that for you.
All right.
What do you think, Joe?
I'm thinking, terrain dependent. The minefield. Yeah, I think the minefields when they were probably play testing this was, hey, give them a couple minefields so just to buy them a turn.
Yeah, and that works because it's further to come from the far side over. It's gonna take you a couple turns to do that anyway. So just having those two there on the near side, on the same side that the objective is on, really helps out. And in a lot of cases, if you really want to kind of be sly about it, you just put the minefields onto the objective and you deploy your infantry on the objective, and just say, if you want to assault me, you got to assault into the minefields, and make your choice there. So that in some cases is a good way to deter a tank force. It's like, okay, you got trained tanks or skill 4 tanks or whatever, your Romanian tanks or skill 5 or whatever. Okay, I'm going to deploy into the objective and good luck getting in. So that is always an option to be able to do. Again, the whole point is to kind of it is to have that extended time to be able to get your reserves in to really start locking down the board.
Okay, so these are your defense options.
Yeah, and one more thing: if you have a bad board and have this mission as a defender, you just hang on to your butt basically, and hope reserves go your way, because especially on the scattered nature of it, it can be rough if you don't have any type of terrain to help you out.
Well, the thing is, I noticed the people who throw boards together tend to have something in the center because, well, why else are you here? So that kind of works out for these people. I mean, for people, because there'll probably be a church here or a house, or even if they did a city. I have a city board, and you can fight. Your door. House to house fighting.
Yeah, right. I don't think that's the case in a lot of areas. A lot of areas just have it's a hill or it's a crop field or something like that. And in that particular case, it's going to be rough. So the attacker options, you basically have 3 fronts to attack. You have the corner to corner, that 14-inch engagement zone. You have the middle to middle, basically, and that'll be a 16-inch zone. And then you have the wing to wing, which is also 16 inches until basically you're going to get into an engagement. Pretty much anybody. You want your if you're going to do the coming off the corner to the middle, you kind of want to have your crack unit or whatever it is, infantry or tanks. Both of those can, with a follow me, can assault first turn. So you want to keep that in mind when you're placing your artillery tokens. You want to make sure that your pre-ranged gen marker is not going to drive off your assault. So place it accordingly, and that goes to both locations, because you definitely want to have pin, a pinning down, or whatever that generally infantry pin down before you go in. If you have a second battery or a battery that can do smoke, having a smoke trail in the front, going in again, just that little bit of extra help getting into assault. I like running with 2 smoke now, so I would smoke the front and smoke behind, and that way the intent is it's harder to get in. I'm planning on winning that assault and making you fall back, and then when you fall back, I'm going to have another layer of smoke that's on the objective or to the objective to be able to sit behind and kind of block your return fire, from whatever it may be. The attacker also, it's better in numbers. if you have, you have everything on the board. So attack with everything. I mean, make them choose, give the defender so many options on what to choose that they can take the chance of like splitting fire, which is beneficial for the attacker, or if they focus on one unit, then you have a whole bunch of other stuff there that is already ready to go, ready to defend that objective. So if you're attacking from the center, again, have the smoke behind. Just to, if you have two templates, if you only have one, then I would, depends really what you're assaulting into. If it's British, then I would probably just smoke behind, not to worry about it, because they really only have the P off there for defensive fire. If it's same thing for the Germans, excuse me, we only have one Panzerfaust. If it's Panzerfaust, Panzerschreck, then I would probably smoke before. So you really have to take into account, what's there. But yeah, so it's just a matter of aggression, and you just want to be able to apply so much pressure to your opponent that they have a hard time figuring out what to shoot at, and give them as little bit as possible to shoot at also with smoke.
Yeah, I like So Nathan on here says about that smoke idea, that layering the smoke. That's a pretty cool idea. I like to, because that would really set you up. Well, let's talk about the some of the advantages that you see here. The advantages for the defender.
Yeah. No, defender, their advantages are more limited than in any of the other missions, in my opinion. They do get the select area defend. You may get lucky. Again, it's so terrain dependent that that may not be advantage at all. Or it could be that you pin the attackers behind a river or something like that, where they have to do cross checks to get over a bunch of hedges or something like that. So it can be an advantage for the defender to pick which area to defend. Obviously, you have the ambush, and of course, that always can be devastating. And then you have mines. Even though it's much more limited than what we see in other missions, mines are still mines. And again, if you get crafty with it, like deploying your own infantry on it, and just kind of look at a tank company and say, "Come and get it," with your skill checks, then that can always be a deterrent to, again, kind of slow down the pace of the game, and not like time-wise, but in terms of rounds, to be able to get more of your units on the board. Disadvantage, yeah, there's a bunch of those for the defender in this. The biggest one is the objective goes hot on first turn, so that that can lead to just being run over or a very fast, aggressive start from the attacker, which in a lot of defensive forces, that's difficult to deal with. They can be assaulted on turn one, which is you don't even have an opportunity to shoot as a defender before to reduce numbers before they get there. You have reduced mines from the what's in other missions, so it'd be nice probably to have it a little bit more as far as mines go, but it is what it is. And then you have scattered reserves, which is always the elephant in the room when it comes to missions and being able to respond. I know that every time I roll scattered reserves, they're always in the wrong area, so they never help me out. I mean, it is so bad. I can like call it. I'm like, they're going to come over here, and they're like, oh, roll a 6, and they're like, okay, well, they're not doing anything for 3 or 4 times. So that is, if that doesn't go your way, then it could be all these things together. It is, yes, better than contact.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that before the show. Yeah, it's not contact.
Yeah. So and again, I think the defender has more of a chance to win in this one they do in contact. But the cards are stacked against them. It is going to be a rough number of turns in this. So especially if you have an attacker that isn't aggressive, and just kind of sits back and takes their time, and you have time to be able to get your reserves on, or you are lucky enough to start getting your reserves immediately and they come in the right area, then it's going to be a tough time for the attackers. So it can, and if you have a good set of terrain, then that always can dictate what happens there in a match, but more so in this one.
All right, then the attacker advantage.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them. You can attack on the first turn, or excuse me, they have the first turn, which is always nice. You have the pre-game range hit markers, so you can set where you want to be able to, protect that objective that that they're going to deploy on. Make them decide, do I want to deploy under that marker? I have 3 markers all on the all on that objective. They really want to deploy there, trying to push them back. Salt on first turn and almost any instance where you replace objectives, you really dictate the time and place of the engagement. If it's coming from the corner in, if you want to be aggressive, you want to take one way and then cut in behind the infantry. A lot of options. And one of the biggest things, you don't have to roll for reserves or anything. You have your full force on the board, full strength against their 60%. So that is always a boon for the attacker.
Yep. And then disadvantages.
Yep.
Well.
And there's not too much behind my camera. Yeah. The ambush is really kind of the only disadvantage that the attacker has. But again, that can be really eliminated by clever use of smoke. So you can, protect your force that way. And that's one of the reasons why when I'm running a tank force, I try to go with 2 smoke. Is I'll deploy, I'll run my stuff up and I'll just smoke in a V and just like, okay, well, I'm going to have that first turn of not being molested and then being able to move in and be able to do what I need to do on turn 2.
Yeah. No, well, very good. Very solid. Any questions out there about that, guys, or comments, or why we're here? It's kind of like, one of the things that we've been going through this is that I've said this before. It's all about the setup, what you bring to the party, and how you set it up. Because then it's just pretty much marching to the sound of the guns and going there. Because you don't have, you don't have all day to say, go, do one objective and say, oh, that ain't working out, and go to the other. Especially in a tournament, you only have, it sounds like a long time, 2.5 hours, but it goes by quick. So, by the time you do pleasantries, set up, and various other things, you got like, a solid 2 hours of playing, and you got to get in there and you got to make it count, got to make it quick. And then, see where the dice fall, right?
Yeah. This is one of those missions. If it, it goes right for the attacker, can be quicker than your deployment. It can be very, very decisive and devastating against a ill-equipped defensive list.
Yeah, I think if you are able to hold on and your reinforcements are coming on, I think it's the percent chance of winning for the attacker starts going down.
Yeah.
So like you said, Brian, I think the key is for the defender is to hold off as long as possible until the reinforcements come, and the attacker is pretty much the opposite, which is get in there, hit, strike hard, strike fast, do a Cobra Kai, and show no mercy. Go in there and that'll be it. So Nathan has a question, which is: are there any late war or mid-war forces that would be overwhelming, disposed or poorly disposed to the scenario?
Yeah, I think anything that has a better chance to rally and remount, let's say like a force patent. If you're able to, especially one that can counter well, that middle objective is so hard to defend without proper, without proper terrain. If you have something that counters like the 116th, I believe is it the 116th Germans or the 19th Germans infantry that has a counter of 5? I don't think that they would defend very well in this particular mission.
The 116.
116, yeah.
So someone will chime in here.
Yeah, it's anything with that 5+ is going to be much harder. Again, it's that middle area, and the attacker will know. It's like, okay, well, you have a 5+ counter, then I'm going right at you, right down the gut. We're going to take that front objective. If you have something that is tougher, like the Soviets that hit on 2+, that have RPG cards that covering that middle, that is a very, very solid group to defend with. Tanks are going to have a hard time getting through that. Me personally, at that point, I would probably resign myself to, depending on what the far objective looked like. But if they have like middle with big platoon HQ and then maybe a small one on the side with maybe some tanks over there or something, then I may spend a few rounds slowing the game down myself as the attacker and just start artillerying and hope I can get some of that stuff dug out. I know they're not running away, but I'm just trying to reduce their numbers, and I have to deal with the reserves as they come onto the board. But the Soviet infantry is real tough in this mission to be able to move around.
Yep. So, what's we need to start going back to what did we learn?
What did we learn today?
Did you learn anything?
That you need to have something that can remount to do well in the in that scenario. Sorry.
Good morale. If you're defending, you need good morale.
You need good morale. Yes.
Yes. Oh, very good. Yeah, very good. Brian, did you learn anything new today? I mean, you're the one doing the scenario.
Yeah. As far as the scenario goes, it is not one of my favorites. I think it probably should be moved around a little bit into a different category. But I rarely come into an attack defend situation. Although as the attacker, I probably should. It heavily favors the attacker. But no, what I learned today is that you're excited to see what Texas is doing for tournaments, and that we're getting the scene going, and the people here in the Tough Hombres club to thank for that they're willing to go out and support these stores, and the stores are very happy to have us there and supporting us with terrain and that type of thing. So really excited about getting the Texas scene going, and we'll see what happens with the tournaments here. Maybe we can start looking at a big name tournament that we had here in the past. Maybe we can get that revived at some point.
Oh, Bane of War?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Let's see.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Patrick learned that AVREs, along with the cat, have their own music on the show now. Yeah. And what I learned is try to avoid. Rich learned what he did is try to avoid playing as the defender in this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder in defender, but I think everyone else should know that they learned today this scenario is better than contact.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you feel. How lucky do you feel, right? Because it's only 1 out of 6 chance to grab this particular mission. If you don't feel like you're lucky, then maybe maneuver for that one round is the way to go. If you know you're against attacker.
Yeah, right. Anne's over here quoting. Go ahead.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Oh, do you feel lucky, punk?
Do you?
Do you?
I know what you're saying.
Then fire.
Fire 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah. Do I have 1 template of smoke or 2? Anyway. I think everyone else, I'm surprised no one's learned there about the double layer of smoke. If you got successful, you got that second layer of smoke in front of you for the counter attack. Especially since you're not dug in, you're just kind of maybe you're just flopping out in the breeze,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just out here in the breeze.
Yeah.
Shoot at me.
Shoot at me. Hello.
And that double smoke works with if you're attacking with tanks or infantry, because like you said, if you're infantry, after you attack, you win, and you're just kind of out there in the breeze waiting for the machine guns. That the smoke adds an additional +1. This kind of protects your guys that a little bit longer as the attacker, so you can get everything else in protect them.
Or really blunts the ambush.
Yes, well, that too.
Yeah, because if you're sitting there on the objective, the ambush is coming out.
Yeah.
Should I hold this one? I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, it's like, well, if you don't play it now, you might not get a chance to play it.
Yeah.
And okay. So Brian, you got anything else that you want to? You got any books here you want to peddle or anything like that?
I do not. I do have this book. I've been reading it lately, so maybe I could become more familiar with it. It is the rule book.
Oh, you recommend people to read it?
Yeah, if you haven't read this before, it's actually it's kind of a boring read, but it's got the rules in there. I have it ready to go.
That makes me go. Read the rule book. All right, everybody. What I think is interesting. Go back to it. I'm just going to pull it up again. Is that the number of tournaments are starting to really fill up for the year, which is really good, and they are all over the place too. Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, Kansas, Texas, Tennessee. There's Delaware. Get some more East Coast on there, guys. But they're working on it. That's good. It's exciting. I got to see what's up with. I know the California guys are working on LVO, so they're probably they're all probably in that. So hopefully, when they get done with LVO in 2 weeks, they could start planning some stuff out. Hey, Ann, you want to play us out? Who we got here?
His name is Patrick Brosnan. Okay. And he is doing a cover of a famous song by War, yeah. Nice cover.
You know what? I think everyone out there want to
get your little phones.
Get your phones.
Light them up.
And you know what? Do
it the other way. The other way. It's almost a reggae type of feel to this version.
I've seen you around for a long, long time. I remember you when you drink my wine. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we?
You know, on the War album, since it's different, I didn't realize that they sure repeat this a long time ago.
I've seen you walking down Chinatown.
You mean they repeated a lot?
But you could not look around. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Do you mean that as V for victory or peace?
By both.
Both.
I don't know. Victory for peace. I don't know. Strength through peace. I
Peace is great.
don't know. Yeah. Brian's got showing his little kitties.
Yeah, she was sleep twitching. And I was sitting there tapping her, and she's like, twitch, 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 twitch. And then she's like, whoa.
Your skin don't matter to me. As long as we can live in harmony. Why can't we be friends?
Everybody, come on. Everyone at home, man. By the way, if you like what we're doing, hit that thumbs up button. Let people know what we're doing. Be part of this.
So I can show you how your money spent.
Oh, it's the president line, right? Show you how your money's spent. Yeah. Until the deep state gets a hold of you.
Patrick, she's actually dreaming about catching one of these.
Yeah.
A paper ball.
Why can't
We be friends. Why can't we be friends? Brian, come on, join us. Be friends. Why can't we be
I am
friends?
singing it inside. You won't need to sing because you'll lose viewers that way.
By the way, by the way, if we play songs, we tell you who. Go check them out. Hit them up. Give them some counts on their thing, their YouTube
I mean, I
stuff.
could always like post a
Yeah.
link to them in the comments here. That was the end of that.
All right. Anyway, okay, we're still on. What? Huh? You're still here? Go home. Anyway, everyone. Until next week, we'll take it in. Brian, thank you for coming on and joining us, and going through Encirclement.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And everyone else, we'll see you next week. Good night.